Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into one of the most awe-inspiring stories in nature, the 25 million year epic of the tiger. Now, this isn't just a look at a really cool animal. This is a story about a true marvel of the wild, an absolute masterpiece of evolution. We're going to journey back through shifting continents and radically changing climates to figure out exactly how this incredible creature came to be. I want you to just listen to this description for a second. Glimpsing the orange and black stripes of the silent forest phantom. Doesn't that just perfectly capture the vibe of this animal? We're talking about a 300-kilogram master of the jungle. A creature that commands profound respect and, yeah, definitely some fear. It's got this immense power and beauty that just evokes total awe in anyone who's lucky enough to see it in the wild. Now here is where it gets kind of unbelievable. This giant predator's lineage, it actually started with this tiny little creature called Eomyas consoria. We're talking about a 10-centimeter, fast-climbing, insect-eating mammal that was literally scurrying around in the shadows of the dinosaurs during the Cretaceous era. Think about that for a second. Compare that 10-centimeter critter to the modern Pantherotigris, a 300-kilogram apex predator. The journey from this tiny bug-eater to the undisputed master of the Asian forest has got to be one of the most stunning examples of natural selection we have on record. Section 1. Millions of years of evolution, tracing the lineage. Let's see how we get from point A to point B. So jumping back about 25 million years ago, we find Proailurus. This guy is basically the root of all cat-like carnivores, and it's where we first see foundational traits popping up, like retractable claws. Fast forward to 20 million years ago, and we hit Pseudoailurus. This is a major fork in the road. One evolutionary branch heads off to become small cats, and the other leads to our big cats. Jumping ahead again to 5 million years ago, Panthera blathea shows up in Central Asia, figuring out how to survive in cold, mountainous environments. And then finally, around 2 million years ago, the highly specialized Panthera tigris actually steps onto the world stage. Right around that 2 million year mark, we start seeing some really crucial physical traits emerge that kind of bridge the gap to the modern tiger. First, there's Panthera poliosinensis, which acts as this vital transitional species. Then comes Panthera zadansky, rocking a super robust skull and a crazy powerful jaw structure. And then, beautifully, the Longdan tiger arrives, displaying the very first faint hints of that iconic striped camouflage pattern. It's like a giant puzzle coming together, with each generation honing its survival skills and passing down exactly what was needed to conquer the wild. Section 2. Anatomy of a perfect hunter. A symphony of strength and stealth. You know, as an apex predator, the tiger isn't just some random killing machine. It's a vital ecological regulator. They're the undisputed rulers of their domains. And the thing is, without them, the whole system crashes. Prey populations would absolutely explode. Vegetation would be totally wiped out, and the entire ecosystem would just fall completely out of balance. They don't just happen to live in the food web. They literally maintain its structural integrity. And their hunting strategy is basically a finely tuned symphony honed over millions of years. It unfolds in 4 really distinct stages. First up is perfect stealth and camouflage, just blending seamlessly into those dappled forest shadows. Stage 2 takes incredible intelligence and focus. We're talking about patiently waiting, sometimes for hours on end, without making a sound. Then, step 3 is the explosive strike. It's just lightning speed propelled by massive, powerful muscles. And finally, a swift end, delivered by canine teeth that are actually among the longest of any cat out there. They act like deadly hooks to secure their prey with absolute precision. But here's what truly sets them apart. They aren't just relying on brute force. Their intelligence and adaptability are completely off the charts. Did you know they swim incredibly long distances? They'll use water holes for strategic ambushes, and they even climb trees to go after their prey. These hunting skills aren't just baked in at birth. They're honed through years of careful observation and practice, painstakingly passed down from mom to cub, generation after generation. Section 3. Adapting to diverse environments. A world of stripes. It's fascinating how natural selection shaped completely distinct subspecies perfectly tailored for their unique homes. Take the Siberian tiger, for example. It's the largest of them all, rocking a super thick insulating coat and massive paws that basically act as built-in snowshoes for those freezing Russian forests. Now contrast that with a Sumatran tiger. It's the smallest and most agile, sporting a dark, rich coat so it can completely vanish into the dense, dappled sunlight of Indonesian rainforests. And of course, there's the iconic Bengal tiger, which is perfectly adapted to the tall grasslands of India and its neighboring countries, where those famous orange and black stripes make them virtually invisible. And actually, speaking of those famous stripes, there's a really cool secret behind them. For the longest time, we all thought they were strictly for camouflage, just for hiding from prey. But research suggests that they actually serve a dual purpose. Those distinct, bold patterns might serve as a tool for species recognition. Basically, it helps tigers identify high-potential mates when they're navigating through really dense, overgrown vegetation. So it's not just a disguise, it's an evolutionary multi-tool. And since we're on the topic of mates, while we generally think of tigers as these solitary phantoms roaming all alone, their social structures get super intricate during mating season. Males and females engage in this really delicate, complex dance of courtship. They're communicating through specific vocalizations, incredibly precise scent markings, and nuanced body language. The whole shebang is about establishing secure, safe territories to ensure the survival of their future offspring. Section 4. The shared skeleton and evolutionary truth. Okay, get this. There's this fascinating little anecdote from the source material about a museum visitor looking at a skeleton display. At first glance, this person honestly thought they were looking at a human skeleton locked in combat with a tiger. They were zooming in, totally confused about why a museum would pose a human like that. And then it hit him. It wasn't a human at all. It was simply the tiger's own anatomy standing upright. That moment reveals one of evolution's most beautiful truths. Deep down, we are all part of the same whole. If you strip away that spectacular orange fur, the massive muscles, and those unique striped patterns, what you were left with looks surprisingly, beautifully familiar to our own human bone structure. It is such a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of literally all living things on this planet. Section 5. The fight for survival, the greatest antagonist. Today, though, we're looking at a stark, honestly tragic contrast. After millions of years of incredibly successful natural evolutionary adaptation, the modern reality for tigers is grim. Over just the past century, their numbers have absolutely plummeted. We've got expanding human populations, clearing forests for agriculture, which leads to rapidly shrinking habitats. And that overlap, it forces fatal human-wildlife conflicts, which is then compounded by the devastating, illegal practice of poaching. This 25 million year evolutionary triumph is dwindling right now, and it's directly due to us. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. This is also a massive story of hope. A multifaceted global approach is actively fighting back right now. We're seeing strict anti-poaching laws and aggressive patrols out in the field. We're seeing real habitat restoration and the creation of crucial wildlife corridors to connect separated populations. Conservationists are even deploying advanced tech like camera traps and satellite tracking to keep an eye on these animals. And perhaps most importantly, we are fostering community-based coexistence to make sure locals and tigers can share the land safely. It's a really challenging road, but these efforts are genuinely working in several regions. All of this builds up to one absolutely staggering number: 25 million. That is how many years this specific evolutionary lineage has existed on planet Earth. Think about that. 25 million years of fighting, adapting, and evolving to reach the absolute pinnacle of the animal kingdom. Which brings us to the final, critical question for our explainer today. Are we prepared to be the generation that permanently breaks a 25 million-year-old lineage? Or will we rally together, support conservation, and fight to ensure these silent, majestic forest phantoms continue to grace our planet for generations to come? Because make no mistake, the future of the tiger depends entirely on our collective action. Thank you so much for exploring this epic journey with me today.